just saw this. The Panthers' new owner is suggesting that it's not a terrible thing to have Cam Newton sit out next year and get that shoulder healthy like they did with Andrew Luck.
I saw that.
It's funny. I was just thinking about this. I think we've seen the best of Cam Newton. And that's not, I've always been critical of Cam Newton. But the new owner said, quote, if you told me he took a year off, could recover, be fully recovered, everything else, and that's what it would take an extra year, why wouldn't you do that? Now, again, he was really banged up at the end of the year. I've always had this feeling that athletes, based on their sport, some age poorly, some age well. I don't think John Wall and Russell Westbrook are aging particularly well because they can't shoot. They're hyper athletic. And when your athleticism goes, you can't rely on shooting.
Yes.
It's why James Harden and Steph Curry will age very well. James Harden can do that step-back move in his 40s. Steph Curry can shoot in his 40s. By the way, Ray Allen aged very well. He could shoot. Dirk Nowitzki aged very well. He could shoot. Jason Terry. Steve Kerr played 15 years, couldn't guard this cup of coffee. Cam Newton, now that his running ability is deteriorating, I don't think he's going to age particularly well. I think you've seen the best of Cam Newton. He'll come back, he'll win games, but there's a reason that Brady and Breeze are aging better than quarterback in the history of the NFL. Nobody's been this good at 39, 40, 41 than Breeze and Brady because they're pre-snap experts, pocket quarterbacks, deliver an accurate, precise football. Cam Newton, this year, early in the year, allowed to run around 6-0. Then he got hurt. They tapered back the running. They were 6-2 when he could move, 0-6 when he couldn't. The reality is he'll never be a precise pocket precision thrower. That's not what he is. It's like Westbrook. Westbrook's never going to be an elite shooter. Been in the league 10 years, this is his worst shooting year. So once you know he's not going to be a shooter, once you take away the hyper-athletic ability, Westbrook's not going to age well, like a Harden would, like a Curry would, like a Jason Terry did, like a Dirk did, like a Ray Allen did. And I do think with Cam Newton, not that he's going to fall off a cliff, but you say, well, what about Andrew Luck? Andrew Luck ran, but is really all about pre-snap and his pocket presence. That's what he is. Cam injury is worse than we thought. And by the way, if you went in, think about this. Now that the word's out on Cam's injury, now as a defensive coordinator, I know they don't want to run Cam. So now I don't have to worry about that threat because I know post-surgery, they're not going to have him running. Makes Cam Newton much easier to defend. Now that that's public and that's out, and it's like, okay, he's got to stay in the pocket, Cam's easier to defend. The threat, even when he didn't run, the threat of him running changed everything. The threat of him keeping the ball changes everything in the red zone. Now, if it's not a threat, much easier to defend. Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
So there's a lot of speculation about where Antonio Brown will play next season.
Yeah.
One team that he likely won't be with is the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Bucks recently hired Bruce Arians as their next head coach. He was on the podcast with Adam Schefter, and Arians says he hasn't liked what he's heard out of Pittsburgh regarding Antonio Brown.
Yeah, it's just too much miscommunication, too much diva. I just don't. I've heard so many stories, and I like Antonio. He plays as hard as anybody on Sunday, and he practices hard. They just got to make better decisions off the field, be on time, do some of those little things.
I'll still go back to this. Joy, there's one team that seems so obvious. There's two things with Antonio Brown. Number one, Pittsburgh doesn't want to send him somewhere where he comes back and burns them.
Right.
So take out New England, the AFC North, and most of the AFC. You want to send him somewhere NFC. Who in the NFC is in a tough division that needs to make a pop?
49ers.
Arizona.
In Arizona, yeah.
Okay, so Seattle's got Russell and Pete. They're going to be formidable. San Francisco's got Kyle Shanahan. Garoppolo comes back. And the Rams have McVay, Gurley, Aaron Donald, and Goff. Arizona's got a Big 12 coach who got whacked. Larry Fitzgerald's about to retire if he hasn't already. And to me, Arizona, Pittsburgh can send him there and maybe have to face him once in 8 years. And because I don't think Arizona's getting out of the NFC West for the next 4 to 5 years. And by that time, Antonio Brown's out of his prime. Arizona seems to me like an obvious fit. If they don't roll the dice in Arizona and kind of shift the paradigm, that GM's out of work.
I just, as a football fan, I would not like to see him in Arizona. I don't think everything that you described is just not, that doesn't enthuse me. I'd rather see him in San Francisco with Jimmy G, make a splash, let it be interesting. I still maintain that they're going to try and make it work in Pittsburgh. They're going to try and get everybody in a room and sort it out, but it may just be too far down the road to fix things. So Kyler Murray's made a name for himself in both football and baseball. He was drafted in the first round of MLB draft by the Oakland A's, won the Heisman Trophy, and he committed to the Oakland A's last summer. However, he just entered his name in the 2019 NFL draft, keeping his option open. Well, Deion Sanders, who played in the NFL and MLB, was asked if Kyler Murray would be able to pull off playing two professional sports, and this was his response.
Quarterbacks, you don't have that luxury. You're the leader. You got to have chemistry with your receivers. You got to be there 100% of the time, in season and out. So it's a little tougher for a quarterback to try to do so. If I was in his shoes, I'm picking up the baseball bat, and I'm not looking back.
Interesting advice from Deion there. He is suggesting that he just goes all in on baseball. Now, if he does go to the combine, if Kyler Murray does go to the combine, he has to return about $4.5 million, a little over $4.5 million in signing bonus back to the A's, and they're considering letting him do the combine as well. I mean, to me, at this point, it's whatever's in his heart. He should just do whatever's going to make him the happiest.
Let's say
he's going to make money in either sport.
Yeah, he's going to make. I mean, the bottom line, what matters? Like, if you want to be famous, go play football. You're going to disappear in baseball. If you go to the A's, nobody cares. You won't even be the most popular. You're not even on the best team in the Bay Area. So if you want to disappear, go play baseball. Let's say you love each equally and they can both play. I mean, if it both can pay you and you love both equally.
Well, that's kind of where it is.
Okay,
at this
so
point.
What matters? Football matters in America. Regular season matters. The draft matters. The playoffs matter. The Super Bowl matters. Like if you want to be part of the national narrative, like guys like me talking about you every week, then you play football. If the money's the same and the passion's the same, then I think it comes down to where can I make more endorsements? Where can I be a bigger deal? Where can I impact the city? Then it's football.
If the passion tips in either direction, go with what you enjoy more. And just as a note, while we're on this topic, Jalen Hurts just put out an announcement in the Players Tribune. He will be playing at Oklahoma next season.
Oh, Jalen Hurts, the Alabama kid.
To My Alabama Family is the title. And yes, so Jalen Hurts will be...
And he can play right away?
In Oklahoma next season.
Oh, that'll be fun. Good for him. Good for him.
Yep, so that's happening. So finally, LeBron James has been out since he suffered a left groin injury.
Yeah.
Christmas Day against the Warriors, he's missed 11 games, and Lakers have gone 4-7 in his absence. They did win last night over the Bulls, 107-100, but they're going to have to wait for LeBron to return. LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, told ESPN that LeBron will miss at least the next 2 games, and he will not travel with the team to Oklahoma or Houston. He's never missed more than 8 straight games with an injury in his last 15 seasons in the league. That makes this the longest absence of his career. They've slipped from 4th place in the West, and they're falling quickly. When do we panic? Is it panic time yet?
No.
It feels like we're on the trail to Panicville.
I don't think we're in
It's
panic.
like we're at the crossroads, and it's like Panicville, and we're trying to decide which way to go.
I don't think we're there
That's kind
yet.
of how it feels.
All right.
Let's talk about Luke Walton getting fired.
Well, that's what
They're losing to some of the worst teams in the league.
For the record, you and I don't think Luke should be fired. We're just saying he may get fired.
I don't think he should be fired.
Either do I. I think he's fine. I don't think Luke Walton's the issue. I
think the issue is they need another star.
Yes.
Just like every other team in the league that is in contention, has multiple stars.
Think about this. Think about how the Utah Jazz are in L.A. tonight. They have Donovan Mitchell, Gortat, the big center, Rudy Gobert, great, best defensive player in the league. They have Joe Ingles is a great shooting forward. They have a tremendous coach. They're struggling. It's hard to win in this league if you don't have transcendent stars. Utah's got good players.
Well, they have a solid team, but if we're talking about competing for a championship, and not even that, like Brandon Ingram is supposed to be that for the Lakers. Kuzma had a jump where he felt like he could be that guy, but they need a guy. They need the guy.
Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
Chris Broussard's going to join us next. Some thoughts on Luke Walton. The rumors coming out that he could be in trouble. That's next in LA. It's The Herd.